have a conversation with you. I want to get your input on this because I'm really curious to um, kind of hear what you think about this whole boxing thing. So I want to hear like what are your thoughts on it, and I mean, just be honest, really, seriously. So I've got a question for you. Did you ever think boxing's future would like depend on a YouTuber like Jake Paul? Like seriously, just really be honest and think about it. Boxing, it's always been about like legends, right? It's been about like the Ali's, the Tysons, right? Guys who built this sport up from the ground, literally. But then now we've got like Jake Paul, we've got like other influencers still in the spotlight. So my question to you is: are they saving boxing, or are they turning it into something that like real fans wouldn't even recognize? Drop a comment. Are influencers helping, or are they hurting boxing? What are your thoughts on this? Are influencers like the Jake Paul, right, and these new guys that you see who they're not traditionally well, I wouldn't even say trained, but they're not the names that you would normally see. So are they helping boxing, or are they hurting it? So let me know. So I want you to also think about this. Like imagine if Ali, and imagine his reaction if he saw a YouTuber headlining a fight. Would he respect it, or would he laugh? Like, would he respect it, or would he laugh? Like, what do you think? But then imagine if Ali had social media. Would he be even bigger? Or would he be drowned out like in all of the noise? I wonder like what would happen there. So why is it you like new energy, or are people just there for the drama? What are your thoughts? Right? And what like you are you here for the fight, or are you here for the hype? Like which one really draws you in? So I was thinking about this, and I was talking to another buddy of mine. I was just asking him, like, could these influencer fights actually be the start of a new kind of sport altogether, like totally different from boxing? I'm curious. Are we like witnessing like boxing, like kind of evolving, or is it just being replaced by something else? So I want to know, what do you think about that? Like, is this something that's just it's morphing into the next best version of it, or is it going to be something like what we saw with football? Right? You try to Vince McMahon, he tried to get his own league, and he tried to do this thing, and it just didn't work out. Right? So let's take it back to even taking it back to like the golden age. Right? So you had like Ali and Tyson. You got like Frazier. Like these guys weren't just fighters; they were icons. Like every match was a huge deal for them. I remember even like we would have like parties. People would just like gather around the TV. It would be like cheering, and it would be screaming with every single punch. Now that for me, that was boxing. But then also playing devil's advocate, here we are, right? Where influencers are actually they're taking center stage. So are these influencers keeping boxing alive, or are they just cashing in on a sport that they didn't really build out? Right. So I'd love to hear like where you stand with this. I'm just really curious on that. Um, if Ali had Instagram and TikTok, would he be as respected, or would he just be another guy just trying to go viral? Right. I mean, like, imagine if his fights were live streamed. If Muhammad Ali had fights that were live streamed on TikTok or on Netflix, do you think he'd be a bigger legend, or just another account on your newsfeed, like something that was just there? And is the legacy of boxing, like, is this thing just in danger of kind of getting buried under all this influencer stuff, like the influencer hype, or is it just the next step? Right? Are we stuck in? Here's the other side of thinking about it. Like, we could just be stuck in nostalgia as well. You could be like, "Hey, Ty, you're just stuck in nostalgia, right? You just like seeing the Mike Tyson one hitter quitters." Or is it important to keep boxing's roots alive? But then, what if that legacy? holds boxing back from reaching new fans. I think that one of the benefits of this is that with now what's happening is we have boxing that's able to go in and really reach new fans that might not have watched, right? Like my daughter Summer, 16, she knows the Jake Paul name, right? She's excited about watching boxing. She may not know Tyson as much, but she knows Jake Paul, right? So is it helping boxing to reach new fans? And then, like, what made those old fights legendary, and do you think we'll ever see that again? Can influencers create like that same type of vibe that you had when you saw Mike Tyson fight? Even though it was going to be a short fight, even though you might have gotten mad because you put your money in, and maybe you pulled in, you chipped in with some people, and you knew that it wasn't going to go many rounds. But do you think influencers can bring that same type of hype, that same type of vibe, right? Or are they just chasing views? So drop your thoughts. Do you think influencer fights can be as meaningful, or is that magic like totally, totally, totally gone? What do you think? So imagine grinding, like you got someone like a Mike Tyson or Sugar Ray Robinson or Muhammad Ali, right? So imagine somebody that's grinding for years. They're sacrificing everything to become one of the best, to become the absolute best. And then out of nowhere, you get someone who's got a name like a YouTuber, like a Jake Paul, who shows up in the spotlight. Less time. Not that they don't put in the work, because he does put in the work, right? They put in the work. But less time. And they now show up in the spotlight. He didn't do the same hard work for the same length of time, right? But he's pulling in millions. He's pulling in millions and millions of people. He's pulling in millions of dollars, right? Tens of millions. But then maybe this is what boxing needs to stay alive, because it's been floundering. So are YouTubers breathing new life into boxing, or are they just taking advantage of a sport that they really don't even respect? What's your take? Right? What do you think? What's your take? Is boxing still about skill and grit, or is it just for entertainment now? Are we here for the fight or just the show? But then, if it's all for entertainment, is it really still boxing? Traditional boxing is that entertainment in the way that we see entertainment now. So, what would happen if Jake Paul or another influencer stepped into the ring with a real champ? Not that Mike Tyson is not a champ, but I'm saying, like, what would happen, right? Think about that. Imagine the clash. Do you think fame could outshine skill, or would experience knock fame out cold? Like, what are your thoughts? Is influencer boxing, is this just something that's a fad, or is it part of a new era? So comment and let me know, are influencers a phase or the future? Where do you stand? What do you think? Where do you stand? Um, when I remember this, right? Like back in the day, boxing was all about proving yourself. It was fighting to be the best, right? Fame was just something that came with it. But now we've got people like, you've got like a Jake Paul and a Logan Paul turning boxing into like this popularity contest, right? So it's like this popularity contest where it becomes who can talk the most junk, right? Online. So here's the real question: is boxing still about skill, or is it now all about who can get the most views, who can talk the most trash online, who can do the most controversial thing, right? Are we losing something important here? Is this thing turning into like the WWE? So that's what I'm wondering. I'm just wondering, like, what are your thoughts on this thing here? Now, are we more into personalities or the punches? I don't think I have enough in here. I think I'm off. You guys ever use this? Do you ever use miso? So are we more into personalities, or are we more into the actual sport? Are we are we tuning into this thing because of the trash talk on TikTok, or what's going to actually happen in the ring? Right. So what happens when like someone who's popular and popularity becomes more important than actual talent? That's the other question to think about, right? Does it make boxing more accessible, or is it just making it more shallow? You got a bunch of followers, you got a huge name, huge audience. It makes it now accessible. But then what does that mean for young fighters who actually do want to go pro? Like people, guys who they're young guys, and they know is going in and putting in the work and doing it the hard way without having the following on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. So can boxing even survive without these celebrity fighters? Or is it just part of the sport now? So is the change necessary? The change that we're seeing, is this thing necessary to keep boxing alive, or is it just like taking the sport down a path that it can never kind of recover from? I was thinking about this last night. Boxing used to be all about what happened in the ring, like two fighters, it's skill against skill. And then the drama started even before the bell rang, right? So now with guys like Jake Paul, you got who bring trash talk to Instagram, trash talk to TikTok, YouTube. Boxing feels more like a reality show. Does it feel like that to you? Does it feel like it's like this is a reality show? Like this isn't even something that's real? So is this the future of boxing? That's my question to you. Are we tuning in to a drama show like the Real Housewives of, whatever, or is this what fans really want now? And who holds more weight? Traditional boxing fans or people who are just into like watch their favorite social media influencer? So that's the question. Have we crossed the line from sport to like pure entertainment? And are we losing something real, or is this the only way to keep boxing alive and exciting? But then maybe this is what keeps people watching. What do you think? Maybe this is what keeps people watching. What do you think? So would people care about boxing without all of the social media drama? That's the real question, right? Do you think the hype before the fight is more important than the actual fight itself? Let me know what you think. Do like real fans want real rivalries? Because now you can't even tell if it's a real rivalry. You can't tell if it's staged. You can't tell if there's dives that are being right. One boxer is being paid to take a fall, or are we here for actual like competition, or are we watching for like all of the hype, the story, right? And then like, if you think about the economic impact of influencer boxing, here's the other thing. So boxing used to be all about the fight itself, and the money came from ticket sales, like actual ticket sales, um, like pay-per-view, right? And sponsors. But now with guys like Jake Paul and even Mike Tyson making millions from merch, making millions from endorsements, making millions from streaming deals, partnerships, boxing is a massive, huge business. Like it's this huge business. But then is this like is all of this money actually good for boxing, or has it just turned into like a cash grab? Right? Are these guys just using boxing for money, or is it helping the sport to grow? So is money taking over skill in today's boxing, or do you think boxing is losing like its spirit because of all of the cash that's flowing in? So comment if you think it's still about passion or just about the profit now. Right? How much of today's boxing is about love for the sport versus making bank, like getting paid, right? Cashing in. Does boxing still have its soul, or has it kind of sold out? What do you think? But then, could boxing even survive without the cash that influencers bring in? So that's the other question of it, right? That's the other side. Would regular boxers even be able to compete like without the money that these influencers are bringing in? So comment below. Do you think boxing can go back to being just about the sport, or do we need like the names? Do we need like social media? Do we need the influencers that bring in the big views, the names, and everything else? Because now, if you also think about it, the other thing to think about is like this power shift that fans now have in a way that they never had before. So like fans used to just watch, support, and just kind of cheer from the sidelines. They didn't control who fought, but now fans practically have the power to set up fights with a few viral tweets, right? You got a tweet that goes viral and it gets a lot of energy, and now this becomes a true idea where you've got this person set up to fight this person. But then are fans really helping boxing, or is this just making it a circus? So fans almost act like promoters, like deciding matchups, even for someone like Jake Paul. Does this make boxing better, or is it just making it messier? Right. So think about that. I wonder, are fans making boxing better or worse with all of this power? So is fan control a good thing for boxing, or are they pushing it a little bit too far? But then maybe it's what brings new people into the sport. You never know, right? You just never know. So because you can, if that's the case, you can go in. I could take my American Express and I could just go in, and I can say, look, uh, let me go in and let me just. I want to pay. I want to take this thing and I want to pay for some fake. Not. I can put up a tweet and I want to pay for fake engagement, and now that creates this so-called demand for a fight that should take place, right? So are fans making boxing better or worse with all of its power? Is fan control like this good thing, or is it just going crazy? So does this power bring us closer to the sport, or does it turn it into like a free for all? Right. So um, the other thing is, like I was thinking about this, is are are influencers like the new gatekeepers as well? Because once you have the following, once you have people that you can put the word out and then you get a reaction from enough people, then again you've got the demand. So in the past, if you wanted to headline like a boxing match, you had to put in years of work. Like you had to prove yourself. Now, if you have enough followers, you're in. Boom. Influencers, you got people like Jake Paul, right? Are almost like the new gatekeepers of boxing. But then what about the real fighters who've been training their entire lives? Are they getting pushed aside, or is this just opening doors in a different way? Right? The new guys, the younger guys that are coming in, right? That don't have the follow. So is it fair that fame could possibly matter more than skill now? Do you think that it's fair that fame can open doors for boxers? Drop a comment if you think followers should decide who actually fights. Is that a real way of measuring demand? Right? Is boxing setting itself up for trouble by letting influencers lead? Could this like actually hurt boxing's future? Let me know your thoughts. And then the other thing is this new trend a barrier for real young fighters who want to go pro? Are influencers making it harder for real athletes? Right? So think about that. Now, here's the other thing. So I wanted to kind of I want to get your, like, what are your thoughts on old school boxing fans versus like new school viewers? Like I said, like I'm an old school, I love a good Mike Tyson fight, right? Wasn't really around for like the Muhammad Ali fights and all of that stuff, but Mike Tyson fight, yeah, absolutely. And then my daughter Summer, who's 17, she's all about like the influencer, right? The Jake Paul. So boxing fans used to care about the skill, the discipline, the fight itself. Now we've got like a new kind of fan, my daughter Summer, teenager, who's here for the personalities, the drama, the spectacle, right? The being able to really see who's gonna take it based off of the names that they know, right? So which side are you on? Which one? I'm curious to see who we have. Is it the traditional boxer, or is it the one that has the fame, the visibility of an influencer, right? Does bringing in new fans mean boxing is losing what made it special? So are we actually losing something by appealing to new fans? Drop a comment if you think boxing's giving up its heart. I was looking at Mike Tyson. This was actually before the fight. This was a weigh-in, and he just didn't, and Mike's gone through a bunch of stuff, right? I actually kind of feel bad for him in some ways, because you could see. But has he actually lost his love and his spirit for this thing? So that's the question. Can boxing stay real while also being more entertaining? Can you keep your love for it, right? Can it be exciting for everyone, or will one side always be disappointed? Like the people that like the influencers versus the people that like the more traditional skill-based boxing. And again, not to take anything away from Jake or Logan Paul or any of the other influencers that really put in the work, because these guys really put in the work. I wouldn't get in the ring with them. But what happens when these different fan groups start to clash? Could this actually start to make boxing stronger, or could it pull it apart? I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, let's see what happens. Be interesting. All right, stay well.